really quickly about Twitter. I've been doing Twitter for about 7 years, and I started with just one account, and I didn't do anything, a couple of hundred followers, and then let it slide for, I don't know, 9 months, something like that. And a marketer called me on the carpet and said, "How come you have one account?" I said, "Why would I have more than one?" He said, "Why wouldn't you?" I said, "I don't know." And I started thinking about it a little bit. I said, "Well, I think I'll get more than one account." And I started looking around. There were people with more than one account. It kind of made sense to me. Why build one when you could build more than one, especially if you use robotics, if you use software that helped you build the account while you weren't doing anything. You just had to kind of keep your finger on the pulse and keep it moving forward, poke at it a little bit, and it would just keep growing more than one account. So I started doing that. And that was 6 years ago. I've kind of taken a break from it over the last year and a half because I've kind of had my hands full with medical and ex-wives, girlfriends, problems, homelessness, etc. I won't go into that, but I built 30 accounts, not one or two. I built 30. And I built about half of them up past 50,000, and several of them are over 100,000. And I've got about 2.5 million followers from several years of consistently pushing the buttons on automated Twitter software that I learned how to use, went through several different iterations and different versions of software until I found one that worked. And it worked on clients. That means on a workstation that you operate from home, not a server that you have in a remote location. But you can make it work on both if you have a little bit of technical expertise or somebody shows you how. It's not that difficult to let it operate on a machine away from your office or your home or personal computer space. If you're going to do it on your personal computer space, it really needs to be on 24/7, and it's going to burn juice, and it needs a connection to the internet and so forth. So you can do it both ways, but this is a quick reveal of why you would build more than one Twitter account, why you would build a Twitter account to a large number of followers, why you would keep working on a Twitter account when everybody else thinks you're nuts. Twitter is known as a micro-blogging platform. That means you can't write a blog post longer than 140 characters because it has to show up on a mobile device. And that might mean an iPad, it might mean an iPhone or an Android phone. It's your text messaging limitation. And you can automate those tweets so that they happen at an increment of time that you choose. And you can stir things up so that you're tweeting different things over a period of 10 days, every hour, every half hour, and then they repeat. Or they never repeat because you have a crew that helps you twist and bob and weave and make new tweets every 10 days, and you put 10 more days worth in there, and they're always unique, and you never tweet exactly the same thing. And you're tweeting a lot if you have lots of followers and lots of accounts. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want lots of tweets, lots of followers, lots of accounts, lots of automation, and even spending some money or employing your siblings or your kids in helping you craft new tweets? Well, because of the power of the Twitter sphere. It's extremely powerful, and it's extremely misunderstood what you would use Twitter for if you have lots of accounts, you have lots of followers. Most people who are used to doing the one-way content delivery process, which is I think of something, I write it down, I send it, someone else reads it. And that's it. It's a one-way. It's like a preacher. I think of it, I write the sermon, I go in on Sunday, I stand up at the podium, I tell everybody what I think, they listen, the end. It's kind of one way. There's not a lot of jibber-jabbering. Maybe they're shaking your hand at the end and say, nice sermon, reverend, whatever. But it's very one way. It's very, I know something you don't, I'm going to tell you, you're going to listen, or you're going to not listen. You're going to walk out, or you're not going to come back because you thought it was stupid. But most people sit there patiently and listen, and it's a one-way. It's not a two-way. And when you maintain a mailing list, or you maintain a blog, or you send out a newsletter to people, or you write a sermon and deliver it, or you write a speech and deliver it to a political audience, or you are the speaker at an event and you speak. It's all one way. It's all, you're better than them, they're worse than you, they're lower than you, they're down below in the audience, you're up on the stage or on the podium or way up, second story at Notre Dame Cathedral. I went to Easter Sunday 1973 in Notre Dame, and the guy was up there about 30 feet above everybody. There were 3,500 people in there, and they're all craning their necks to see him. It's one way, and it's top down. It's they're smart, you're dumb. It's they're up, you're down. They're high, you're low. And that's kind of what blogging is about. There's a little commentary, but it's not really an even playing field. It's not an even exchange. The person who's speaking in a blog, the person, especially a video blog, speaking at length, and then people are saying nice talk. Usually 2 words, 3 words, that's all people ever do. Very rarely do people like me come along, write 4 paragraphs, and everybody's all like, what did this guy do? He's trying to take over the guy's blog with all his commentary. Well, it's the only way I know how to talk, and it's the only way I know how to write a comment. And if I have something to say, I say it. I don't care. But it's not two-way. It's not a forum where it's back and forth, and 20 people are talking, and everybody's exchanging ideas, the big maelstrom of ideas. It's not a foundry, an idea foundry. It's just one way. And when you come from that mindset and you get on Twitter, you're expecting that when you tweet, people are going to listen. Nope, they're not. They're not watching the tweet stream. That's not what Twitter's for. There are very few people that are ever going to see your tweet. If you have 100,000 people following you and you tweet, about 1 or 2 of them are going to see the tweet. The rest of them, not so much. Not going to see it. Goes right by it. Following too many people, it just went off the page in a heartbeat. Before they could even refresh the page, it's gone. There's no easy way to get back to it. You didn't get an email saying it was there, unless you have a list and you're telling people about your tweets, which I don't know anybody that does that. So what's Twitter for then? If you tweet, nobody listens. Glad you asked. There's several things. I'll just give you 2 in this video because I don't want this to be too long, and I teach this in class in person. I don't want to give away too many secrets, but one of them is you build a relationship with people simply not because of what you tweet. People don't even look at your tweets. They want to know how often you tweet. How many tweets have you done in the last, since you've had a Twitter account? Is it 20? Is it 2,000? Is it 200,000? They look at that. Those stats are right there in their face, right when they're looking at your picture. They look at that. They also look at one other number. How many people are following you? They don't look at how many you're following. A few do, the marketers do, the people who are trying to build Twitter do, but most people are looking at how many followers you are. How big of a jefe are you? How much clout do you have? All these people that are following you. So it's for building a relationship, and there's lots of nuances to should you be following people back when they follow you or not, and how do you get all kinds of followers, and what do the followers mean, what they do for you. That's all part of the Twitter puzzle. But a relationship can be developed with someone simply because you have a big presence on Twitter. And if you know how to build Twitter, you can build relationships with people simply by helping them build their Twitter because they don't know how. Those are valuable things. And then the second part of this talk is about what happens away from Twitter because you have a big Twitter presence. And if you have lots of followers, the search engines like you more than people who don't. And if you tweet with links and keywords around the links within your tweets, and you automate them and you're tweeting a lot, you're going to get a lot of backlinks. And you're going to get a lot of stable, not permanent, but long-term life backlinks that sort really high on the search engines. And that involves writing copy, which is not an easy thing for people to learn. Most people are going to have to either borrow some of these from somebody that knows what they're doing, or they're going to have to outsource the copywriting of their tweets, because when you write a tweet, essentially you're writing a blog post in miniature, and that's copy. And if you're trying to make money with your online business, then it needs to be the right words, and it's much more difficult to write copy in 140 characters than it is in a 40 screen long form sales letter. If you have lots and lots and lots of space to blah blah blah, it's a lot easier than if you only have 140 characters to get it right. People have a lot of trouble condensing. It's just hard. It's hard to condense your thoughts into that small a space and have it come out where anybody can even read it, because people, they're going to have to read acronyms and abbreviations, and it's just really hard to squeeze human thoughts in 140 characters. So you have to work at it to get any good at it. It's harder than writing long form copy. It's harder than writing video copy, copywriting on Twitter. But if you get it right, you just run circles around the whole rest of the world, because there's about 50 people out of the 400 million people on Twitter that got it right, that even know what Twitter's for. And there are a number of other layers to the power of Twitter that are beyond the scope of this video, but those are two of them. Building relationships with people because you have a substantial Twitter presence, including being able to help them build a substantial Twitter presence if they're your strategic partner and you're going to benefit financially from them having a substantial Twitter presence. And then what happens outside of Twitter because of search engine marketing and because of positioning and because of other things that can be built because you have a big Twitter presence.